Welcome, everybody, to our final week within this very fantastic journey we've been on together, the Personal Mastery Journey. And it is with great pleasure that I officially welcome Randy Mitchell, the president of Jump to Health.
Well, thank you, Tara, and thank you for everything that you always do and continue to do, and making sure that these 12 weeks have been absolutely perfect. And I just want to thank all of you that have been showing up consistently to learn. And what we're going to do today, we're going to bounce around a little bit. We're going to do a few different things and really bring the 12 weeks together and really go to that process where we talk about realization. And as many of you know on this call, with a new you in 22, we're going to look to see how to take what we've learned over these 12 weeks and actually implement, execute, and use them. So let's go to see how successful I can be with sharing screen here. And go. Okay, 3 phases. As you know, we started with the awakening, then the transformation and the realization. So we're going to hit on some of the highlights of all of those as we go through this process. But what's really I want you to pay close attention to, and you may want to take some notes as we're going through this process, is really look at and challenging yourself to see if you want to do anything maybe a little differently than you may have in the past. So, new you in 22, and some of you are familiar with this format, right? So it's just as if you are building a business, but you're building yourself. So to be a new you in 22, you have to ask yourself an important question. How are you going to approach being a new you, right? What are you going to do differently? Or were you planning to do the same things that you've always done? Because if you're planning to do that, what we do know is that we will get the same thing. So if you were looking for your top 3 things or your top 3 people, what would you want? You'd want an awakening, a transformation, and a realization. And what happens when those things, this is all the things that we've covered over these last 12 weeks, right? So you're looking for people who may be awake, who may be looking for something, right? A new you in 22, is it just a catch line for you, or are you really dedicated to being a new you in 22, in 22 days, in 22 minutes, in 22 seconds? Because change happens in our moments of decisions, telling you very quickly. So awakening, you want to have clarity, you want to dream and desire, but it's not about you. So here's the beauty of what we're talking about today. New you in 22 and looking for people you want to attract and work with in your business. So you want to help them get clear. Now, let's say they're talking about weight loss, if that's what they really want, right? So it could be any number of things, but then you want to really work with them and help them have clarity on why is the new you in 22 different? What's different about it, right? So how do you position yourself in the marketplace? How do you position yourself in conversations, right? To demonstrate that what you have is different. Or are you going to attempt to do the same things you've always done? Remember, we get the same results. And then you want to move into the dream category. Really inspire, ask people to see if you can get them to share maybe a little bit more about what they're dreaming, what's possible. And then desire. You always want to check in for desire and commitment, because if you're building a team, just like you're building yourself, right? As you know, as we've gone through these 12 weeks, this is not just about transforming your business. It's about transforming lives, transforming your life and working with the people you care about to transform their life, radical transformations. So desire, what kind of desire do they have? And then we move into the second phase of transformation. What's the vision? What do they see for themselves? Thoughts. What thoughts are they thinking? And intentions, right? What is it that truly is going to be created? So we have the awakening, the transformation, we're building till we get to that realization. And we realize that we're the creator of our reality. And that when through that realization, we understand that our needs are always met. Our needs are already met. We have everything we need. And this is where personal mastery comes in. Personal mastery comes in with truly getting yourself to do. I'm not sharing anything new that you don't already know, but it's getting yourself to do what you know. Isn't it amazing that we can know what to do and still make an active choice not to do it, or find ways to fake ourselves out to stop from doing it? So you want to get clarity on what your customers truly desire and want. You also want to get clarity on what the executives want. And you want to apply all these things that you learned over the 12 weeks so you can not only reshape yourself and transform yourself, but maybe have them go into a new you in 22 in a different light so they don't end up with the same results. Because all I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, as you absolutely positively know, if we approach this new you in 22 with the same thing, we're just going to end up with the same results that we've already had. So we already talked about this: the clarity, the dream, the desire, right? The transformation, the vision, the thoughts, the intentions, right? All these key things that you've learned and thought about. And remember, all these are back in your back office. So if you want a refresher, you can definitely do that. And we will continue to do some of these conversations on different pieces as we move through implementing a new you in 22. Because it's really truly about the first 22 days is just the beginning of the process, right? And if we can approach this differently, if we can help people to see things differently and really work with them to see through your eyes until they can see through their own, so they can see the greatness that they have within themselves, man, then we can actually make some real inways of what we're doing. And then the realization, you become the creator of your reality. We already talked about this. You have everything you need. And personal mastery is a way of life. We release that judgment and we really become of service. So I'm going to say this because we probably have said this many, many times, especially in this business. When your intentions are really clear to serve and make a difference in the lives of others, people feel that. When your intentions is to pretend that you are doing that, and really what you're doing is just trying to see who you can get or satisfy your needs, they will also feel that. So please understand that personal mastery is about being of service and releasing judgment of yourself and others. Because when you release that judgment, you can have conversations with any and everybody. So let's talk about personal development a little bit. I love personal development. I'm telling you, we started this. This is how we started, right? So we can access our skills and all those different things and realize and maximize our potential. But where it really gets real is when you master yourself. And as Yoda, my favorite, would say, you must unlearn what you have learned. And that is never has been truer than when we're dealing with direct sales and multi-level marketing. People are so much smarter today. Customers that you're looking at and talking to, if you just go with them with the same old stuff like everybody else, you're just noise in the park. But man, if you can do something coming from a personal mastery, sharing your story in a way that touches their heart because they could see what's possible with what's in them, right? So what you want to really get clear about as you're going through this process is what's new about you. What's new about you that you have to share? What have you learned over these 12 weeks that you can now share with someone and say, man, I wish you would have been with me to see and learn the things that I've learned, right? So what's the difference? What's going to be different for that person this time? What can you share with them and promise them and show them and make sure they understand you're part of their journey? That's going to be different for them instead of just the same old nonsense for another ride for losing 10 pounds and gaining 20. So what does it take to build a business in network marketing? Two things that are incredibly important, right? If anybody tells you otherwise, they're just lying to you, right? So products or services that retain customers and creating a team of business partners. That is critical, always will be. That's the way it is. That's how this business is designed. So those of us who truly understand how to connect and work with people, be of service to people, tell the truth, right? Those simple little things, when we learn how to do that, not exaggerate our stories or any of those things to try to make an impression, you can then go through the process of building a very conscious business. What else does it take to build a business? Well, we know we have to create a team of business partners. So we're creating that team. You got a couple of questions for you. Are you a leader? Are you a person leading? Or do you follow the leader? Which one? Which one are you? So let me ask you this. Which one are you, a leader or a follower? Which one is maybe earning the most money? Would that be the leader or the follower? Well, I have to share something with you that I think is incredibly important. Those people who are truly successful in this business are both. They're both a leader and a follower, and they understand some critical things. They understand when it's time to lead, and they understand when it's time to follow, and they understand how to combine those two things together. See, because a leader is going to have you want to work with them. A leader is going to have you feel inspired about working with them. A leader is going to be able to show you and going to be able for you to see, again, through their eyes until you can see through your own. A leader has you jumping out of bed in the morning, thinking about you and what you can do and what you can accomplish. And you can feel that way because they have demonstrated to you what's possible by their actions, right? And so followers learn and they go through the same process. But then there's times when those leaders have to become followers and follow someone else as well, right? Because I always say, be weary of the coach that has no coach. Right? Because we're all learning, we're all growing and doing this together. So when you're a leader, please do not put yourself above like you're better than anybody else, because we're not. We're all the same. We're all leaders, we're all followers. And when we learn to do that together, we bring those two skill sets together. Because to be a great leader, I have to tell you, if you want to be a great leader, you damn sure better know how to follow. Because if you're the biggest fish in the pond, then you're in the wrong pond. Right? You are in the wrong pond because all you're going to do is go stale. But when you are exposing yourself to people who understand and grow and have done things that you're looking to do, and you're learning from them and you're following them, and you're leading and you're doing that at 360, it is a beautiful thing. Because there is nothing worse than a leader that gives you bad directions or has no true idea of where they're going or doesn't know how to put a strategy or process or any of those things together so that everybody's on the same page doing the same things, right? And so it's just learning. So when you learn, then you can teach. And it's something magical. This is to me, part of a new you in 22. There's something magical that happens when we can do all of these things together. When we can lead and follow and share and become a community. I'm not better than, you're not better than. We're all learning and growing together. So you want a new you in 22, then become part of leading and following, right? Because you're going to need to do both, right? And we spent some time talking about this, but I just really want to touch on it again because it's so important that people understand that unrealistic goals don't do anything but leave you disappointed. But when you have intentions, empowering intentions, not just about you, but about others, and I'm going to keep talking about that, because truly that's the difference. Truly, that's what makes all the difference in the world. When our intentions are really real about what we want to do and how we want to be of service, right? Forget the lies and the myths. Come with the truth. One of the things that people despise about this industry, and they find out very quickly, is when you lie and you don't tell the truth, or you exaggerate or try to make something better than what it is, or try to convince somebody to leave what they're doing to come join you. That is just, it's really like, so if somebody's happy doing what they're doing in another company, man, just be a peer, be happy for them, be happy that they're happy, right? Don't try to take them away because you don't want people trying to do that to you. So why do that to them, right? So really understanding that we're all unique and we hear the messages in different ways, really attracting like-minded people. Not this 3-foot rule, because I don't want to work with people 3 feet in front of me. I want to attract people that really want to make a difference, right? And understanding from a conscious point of view, how to expand our businesses. Yes, we may sometimes have to look at how to get contacts, how to get leads, how to change that. But there's so many conscious ways that we can do that, so many systems that we can do, rather than just throwing stuff up against the wall. And please eliminate the scripts. Let's just have real conversations with people. And above anything else, don't treat this like you're an employee, treat it like a business. And one of the issues that we have in this industry, unfortunately, right? So this is all about being a new you in 22, right? But one of the issues that we have is that because the price is so low to get started, we don't put the necessary attention on it and treat it like a real business. Those that understand that and treat it like a business get the biggest thing. So you know that to be successful and to build a team, right, you want to attract the ideal partners, right? So what are some of the keys for that, right? This is asking yourself, as you're going out now, sharing a new you in 22, ask yourself, are you becoming who you want to attract, right? And boy, and I'm telling you, when I look at those before and afters, yesterday when we were going through the results of the beta team and the beta launch, oh my goodness, man, people, you talk about having stories to share, right? And just being an example of possibility. So many great possibilities there. So are you becoming that? Are you giving what you desire to receive? Are you giving more, right? Are you more concerned about the results? Are you really working with people? Are you that example, right? You receive what you desire for others. You want to create divine relationships. See your team in their greatness. See your customers in their greatness. See them for what they say they want, right? So make sure that you can hold that vision for them and with them. Right. And when you're doing that, you're building a sacred community. You're going to deliver excellence. You're going to go above and beyond what's ordinary. And unfortunately, many of us accept ordinary. Many of us accept being mediocre. Many of us accept things that we don't have to accept any longer because we think it's either too late, or we can't do it, or we've had too much past failure. But remember, your presence will bring out the best in people or push them away. It's really all, those are choices that you have. So you want to attract spiritual partnerships based on love and trust. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about love and trust because those are the most critical things to building something that will last you a lifetime. So let's think about this, the jump to wealth revenue sharing plan. Now, these are just the numbers, right? So you've gone through these. I'm not going to go through all these numbers. However, what I want you to understand and really, really have the clarity on is that for this to work, you're building a community. And if you can see in your mind and envision in your mind what we talked about and the skill sets that we've attached to these, right? And so look at, okay, if I take these skills that I've learned and work them with my team, I can build this 1, 2, 3 through 30. I can build 1 through 39 with no problem and really start to change my financial future. But as I'm changing my financial future, check this out. What's so important is that as you are building and working with your first, second, and third person, and you're looking at the clarity, dream, the vision, and all the things that we talked about, as you are doing that, they are earning, they are achieving their goals. They're able to do something that they weren't able to do before. And then as you're doing it together, you got those times when you're leading and you got those times when you're following, but everybody's in the mix together. They're building and really coming together. So this is a very simple process. You're not going to find another plan that even comes close to this. And the reason that's important is because when we start talking about what makes you different, this is not something that you got to throw in somebody's face. It's just a reality. It's just a fact. It's just that there is no other plan that rewards a part-time person more than the Jump to Wealth revenue sharing plan. It just does not exist. So that's just the reality that you can share with people, something that you can jump out of bed feeling good about, knowing that you are not taking advantage of anyone, that you're providing them with a legitimate opportunity to have a new you in 22, that they can do something that they have not done before based on you being an influence and instrument in their life. That's something to feel good about. So remember, we talked about this, your behavior can be no different than your belief. So if your belief is high about, you know that you have the best plan, you know that you have the ability, if people decide to do the work, right? If they decide to do the work and do what's necessary, if they decide to follow the things that you've done over these last 12 weeks and really, really engage, that not only can it be a new you in 22, as they continue that process, they're going to grow, develop skills that's going to help them in their life. And as those skills help them in their life, guess what? They become connected to you in a way that they just never leave. No matter what happens, they want to be with you because you're part of a change that is taking place in their life that they would not have had if not for you introducing them to what you're doing. So when you have that level of belief, your behavior can be no different than that. When you look at the numbers of people we had on the call last night, you know why that happened? Because people's belief was different. They approached their business different. They approached it with excitement, with energy, right? And they could have done that at any time. At any time, but they chose this time for a new you for 22. But if you remember that, and you apply that same energy on a daily basis, I cannot even begin to tell you what would happen with your business, right? But we sit back sometimes and we wait for something to happen to motivate us. And if you really understand and tap into your value-centered must-have, the things that are so important to you, that every day you get up, you're going for it. You're not stopping, right? So you can have that same energy on a consistent basis. That's what makes a difference. That's a new you. If you want to show up the same way that you've always shown up, talk to people the same way, do the same thing you did last month or the month before, God bless you. I'm happy for you, but you're not going to get the results that you really, truly want and desire. If you want different results, it requires radically transforming your life, your mindset, and really looking to be of service to other people, doing more for them than you do for yourself. And I got to tell you, miracles will happen. So we talked about this earlier. I'm not going to go into it tonight. A conscious mind and subconscious mind, because those beliefs that are underneath that are in the subconscious and your fears get triggered, you know what? You can fight all of those things off when you're focused on your value-centered must-haves. So what are the four self-defeating factors, right, that keep us, right? And this is something that really amazes me. This is one of my favorite graphics, the circle of sameness, circle of fear, in the comfort zone, where we lock ourselves in and we stay there because of whatever fears that we have. And the number one reason is excuse after excuse. People who know me, why you'll understand why I don't have a lot of friends, because I do not tolerate excuses. Excuses it's useless. It makes no sense. And one of the biggest things that happen, especially in this industry, is we always talk about the duplication process. We talk about McDonald's and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But what's really getting duplicated? Failure. Because if duplication process, the way we talked about it, worked in the manner that it was supposed to work, all of us would have been done, finished a long time ago. So what you want to duplicate is love. What you want to duplicate is care. What you want to duplicate is service. What you want to duplicate is being an example of what's possible by fully engaging and doing all the necessary actions to build your business, teaching, showing, sharing with people in ways that they understand, because you're talking to them in a language that they can hear you in, rather than talking a bunch of nonsense that gets nobody anywhere, right? And the biggest thing that we have, and throw it up on your mirror, throw it up everywhere you go, that overwhelming belief that we're not enough. And when you understand and know that you are enough, when you understand and believe with every fiber of your being that there is nothing deficient about you, that personal mastery is key, you are more than enough. I'm telling you, magic happens because people feel that. Right? When you look at the numbers that came onto the call, you look at when your business changes, you look at when things happen in your life, it's because of how you are feeling and the emotions that you're bringing to it, right? And one thing that I really, 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 really want you to step away from is blaming others, right? Because the things that happen to us and the things that we're a part of, right? We have to take responsibility for. Look at your part. I don't care what it is. I don't care what goes down. Look at what part you played in it. Take responsibility for your part. And then all of a sudden, you'll see different things start to happen, right? So what is a thought? A thought is just a belief we keep thinking, right? So what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about how you can serve? Or are you thinking about the difference that you can work with, that you could be this instrument? Just imagine you could be this instrument in people's lives that truly allow them to have a different life. Right? And not from an ego standpoint, but just from a standpoint that because you're here and you're sharing something with them, you're sharing a new message with them, you're sharing a message of possibility of what can be done and how it can be done. And you're giving them all the tools, all the resources, everything they need. Do you know how many people that are out there that have attempted to release weight, lose weight for years, and they just keep going back and forth because they don't know what you learned in these 12 weeks. If you took what we learned in these 12 weeks and applied it to what they're doing, that they would never have to go through that process again. They would never have to experience that again, because most people work from the outside in, but we know that we're going to be inner fit and we're going to work from the inside out. We're going to heal the inside, right? So the outside becomes what we want it to be, right? So it's done unto you as you believe. So when you know what I know, when you know what you know about our products, when you know what you know about the revenue sharing plan, when you know what you know about the recipes and all the things that are at your fingertips with the new you, whoo, buddy, I'm telling you, things really, really can be what you want them to be, right? So we want to jump out of our negative thought addiction cycle and really recreate a cycle that works, a cycle that really brings us the joy that we want, right? And this is really where you come to what I like to call, which is one of the things that I have to practice. And the more stress that I get under, the more I have to practice, right? But that's being able to detach, disconnect from the ideas that limit you, disconnect from believing that somebody has the ability or power to piss you off, right? It's only something that is reminding you of. You want to protect your mind against the influence of negative people, and the best way to do that is stay the hell away from them, right? And you want to open your mind to new possibility. Understand that nothing owns you, right? Detachment is not that you own nothing. It's just that nothing owns you. You're not attached to people, places, or things or events around us. Then when you're not attached, you cannot be rejected, right? So if you want to use the AVAR process, like I talk about, I love the AVAR process. It's something I created over 2 decades ago, right? But awareness of the attachment. What are you attached to, right? Are you attached to an image? Are you attached to what you think you need to show up to, so what people look like back in the old days in this industry where people tell you to fake it till you make it, instead of showing up like the real you and who you are? So are you attached to that? So visualize letting go of the attachment and reframing your desire. So visualize, see yourself as you truly are. See yourself with the greatness that runs in you and runs through your veins, right? And then take the aligned action that's necessary for you to detach. And please be responsible for releasing yourself. Make sure that you do that. You take care of those simple little things. So again, this is just a recap, but I want you to apply everything that we've learned over these 12 weeks to a new you in 22, but not just for you, but for those you're about to serve and introducing them to that. Remember, this is in your back office, so you could take them to certain lessons and certain things, right? And how do we get to this transformation process? It's really simple. I say we just have to remember to act, acknowledge, right? So acknowledge when those negative beliefs come in or when something's happening to you and you can feel it. Because, sometimes you can feel things before you actually understand what's happening, but you can feel it. So you want to acknowledge, then you want to challenge that feeling. You want to challenge that thought, and then you want to transform it. So it's very simple. Act, acknowledge, challenge, transform. Simple process. You can do it quickly. It's like I always share, I can tell you the emotional state that I'm in based on what I want to put into my mouth, right? Will tell me exactly how I'm feeling emotionally. So when I see that, I can challenge it, I can transform it in an instant. And this is my favorite part. We don't have enough time to go through this. We went through it on one of our earlier exercises, but it's really the AVAR process. It's that awareness, vision, action, responsibility, and it's how you transform beliefs, right? Because we set out on our sail on our ship of current beliefs. So I want you to think about how you used to think about this business and how you went about it. That's what you would consider current or old beliefs. And what we want to do is we want to move through the winds of adversity, move through the doubt, and really start to create, right? We're going to go through that bridge of transformation and start to create new ways and new levels of consciousness. And how do we connect with people? How do we have conversations? Because again, if you go about this the same way that you've always gone about it, you're going to get the same results, and we don't need the same results. So we're going to spend more time on this in the future, going through this process, awareness, vision, action, responsibility, because this is really how you can transform beliefs that have been with you for a long time. So the inner conversation begins. And again, it's me and Tara were talking about this the other day. We were talking about the matrix and the life that we are in now and what's happening. And I got to tell you, we both agreed that it may be time to go back and watch that again, because we become what we think about, right? The repetition of the message stays in into our subconscious. Most of us focus on what we don't want. That is, I don't know, millions and millions of people watched The Secret, but they couldn't understand what was happening. right? When they weren't getting the results, because those little feelings of paying attention to what you don't want, right? Our conditioning to gain approval has us avoid being rejected, right? So we've been conditioned all our lives for somebody to say that we're okay, right? So we're so busy running around trying to be okay that we think being rejected is bad. And really, when you understand how to share your story, when you show up fully as you, you're never rejected, because nobody can reject you because you're just you. You're being you. You're being who you are, right? So everything we have or don't have, please remember, we are the creators of our reality. So everything we have or don't have is based on what we thought about and what we chose to bring into our existence. So how do we transform? How do we transcend? I got to tell you, it is truly about focus. Faith is the only thing I know of that replaces fear, right? Openness, right? So we keep talking about a new you in 22. How open are you to being new? How open are you to being new? Showing up in a new way, presenting your business in ways that we talked about earlier in our 12 weeks, being authentic and real, sharing from your heart, right? Having total clarity of your passion and your purpose and why you're here, knowing that you're an instrument that's being used to serve people and make a difference in their lives, and having that universal love. So when people are around you, they know that you truly do care and that you live with an attitude of gratitude and you're providing a powerful, powerful service, right? So we want to transform and transcend our limitations. We're going to go back into awareness of what we're thinking, right? And what it's making you feel, a vision for what you want, and really focusing in on your value-centered must-haves, focusing in on those value-centered must-haves, the things that you're willing to, those things that you will do what you haven't done before in order to achieve what you want, and seeing and feeling it as it's already so. And the action, inspired, aligned daily actions toward those value-centered must-haves and definite chief aims, right? So what are you really going for? What are you going to make sure that when you wake up in the morning, when you jump out of bed, and you're jumping out of bed based on the excitement that you're feeling about your daily actions? I don't care. For some of us, we may be going into a job we don't like or going in to do something we don't like. I have to tell you, when you show up, you want to show up like a shining star. You want to show up bringing so much excellence and so much stuff to what you're doing that they don't know what happened to, because that's the energy that will carry through with everything you do. You can't go somewhere and spend 40 hours or 50 hours a week and have a piss poor attitude and expect to have a good attitude when you go to build your business. You got to bring the best you to everything you do. And I got to tell you, when you bring the best you to everything you do, everything changes, right? So it's not just about the conscious, it's about the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious, and really applying all of that together. So understand, you become the creator of your reality, right? The decision-making process. I got to tell you, man, I love to talk about radically transforming. I love to talk about radical action, because ordinary action is just not enough, man. It is just not freaking enough. It has to be, you have to be ready. If you don't want to be in that 95 percentile of people who are just struggling to get by, then you better be radical. You better be ready to do something that you haven't done before, love like you haven't loved before, commit like you haven't committed before, do things in a manner that require it to be a new you. Please, I'm inviting you to be new, right? So the battle of the mind begins with the simplest of daily choices. What are we doing daily? Who are we connecting to daily, right? How simple is it to make sure you stay connected to the people that you're working with, right? So let's take an example. Using a new you in 22, what's your level of commitment, right? For those that went through the beta, oh man, you could see the level of commitment. You could see from the pictures, right? So what actions are you prepared to take? Are you ready to do what you haven't done before? But I have to tell you, this last ingredient that we've been talking about over 12 weeks, now you get to apply it. This is an inside job. This is an inside job, which is going to make the external so much easier. Because when you go inside and you start to look and you start to see what's really going on, what's been in your way, why you keep going back and forth, losing weight, gaining weight, blah, 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 blah. all the excuses that we make, the pandemic is this and blah, all that stuff, right? Because many of us haven't gained the pound, we lost weight through the pandemic. So it's not the pandemic, it's the choices that we make, right? So be radically transformed. Are you committed? And make that commitment to those people that you're serving. So co-creating, being the spirit of this and the intention. All right, I'm going to try to wrap this up even quicker so we can have some time to share together. But I have to tell you, co-creating, this is where you get with your customers. This is where you get with your new executives or people that you're working with, right? And understand that people support what they create together. So together you look at how you are going to bring forth those value-centered must-haves, right? So you want to begin, you want to see it as it's done. You want to trust your intuition. You want to be open. You want to match your desires to the inner conversation. You want to now you're doing this together as a team, as a unit, right? You want to make sure that as you're building your business with your team, that you have time set up, appointments that you're always keeping. You're honoring your appointments that you're making with each other, right? So it's not a hit and miss idea. These are intentions. These are goals. These are things that are set. You're going to be impeccable with your word. If you say that every Tuesday we're going to get on a call at 5 o'clock, come hell or high water, every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, you're on the call. There are no exceptions to that. So you set things up that you are co-creating together. So together you look at, so you know that, okay, you're working with your team members and all of a sudden, you want this big piece of chocolate cake, or for me, fried chicken and apple pie, whatever it may be. But oh man, I got to be impeccable with my word. I'm co-creating with somebody. Let me pick up the phone. Let me call. Let me have a conversation. Let me talk through this, right? Let me make sure that I'm doing everything necessary to be a new you. And as you start to challenge that and you do the acknowledge, challenge, transform, I can tell you this, your life will change. If you don't do it, you'll be doing the same damn things that you've always done, getting the same results that you've always gotten. And yes, this would have been nice 12 weeks that we spent together, but it won't change a thing. The only way that's going to change a thing is that when we start from the internal and we do what we know we're here to do. And this is my favorite. Your presence is your power. When you walk into the room, people will know who you are already the moment you walk in. Because if your presence does these things, if it gives you the calm, if it leaves people feeling energized, and it makes them, when people around you, they feel better about themselves, that's when they want to hang with you. And the only way that happens is that when they know that you love them and you are willing to do whatever it takes to assist them to get what they want, right? And when you can inspire others to greatness, they want to be around you. They want to stay with you. So jump to wealth business building plan. Okay, so here you are. There's you, right? Right, there's you. And what do you need? What do you want to have to make sure that you have success? The three top things are just like your 3 people that you're working with. You want the consciousness, you want the clarity, and above all, you want the love, the consciousness. You want to monitor that internal conversation. You want to be clear about your passion and purpose and clear about theirs, right? So everything that you're doing for you, you want to make sure you do for them in love. I got to tell you, and I keep saying it, I know it may sound quaint, it may sound weird to some people, but this is the bottom line. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not talking about that fake love. Oh, I love you as long as you're recruiting. Oh, I love you as long as you're on auto ship. Oh, I love you as long as you're on smart ship. No, we're talking about a love when people know that you have their back, that without fail, they know they can depend on you. If they call you and they want to eat that cake, they know that they got somebody that's going to listen to them and they're going to work with them and really talk with them about what they said they want and how they can go about doing it. All I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, without question, you don't have to believe me, right? But what most people keep coming back to this industry for, they keep coming back to the feeling that they had and the feeling that they got when they're around other people and how good they felt when they feel the love, but it's real love, not the fake BS love. So the steps to doing this, we've talked about this, and we go from belief to passion to conviction to inner knowing. And when you get to inner knowing, life changes. And that's when you have alignment. And from that alignment, you develop and you keep your personal mastery. So we talked about this last week, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but conscious network marketing is really simple. It begins on the inside, not the outside, right? So you got to begin from within, right? Knowing that you are the key factor. You are more important than the products. And once you access the greatness from within, your world will change, right? When you get the greatness, your own greatness from within, right? And now you can share that with others. That's when the world changes. That's when people understand. That's when you understand. This is the power of being a leader and a follower. So when you can do both, right? When you can be on both sides of the coin. So new you in 22. So what is this about? It's about awakening. It's about transformation. It's about realization. And we do that together. We do that with people. And that's the reason why I'm using this chart, because I want you to see the new you in 22 and not just build it as a business, but build it. You're building a business of building people. You're building a business of building people. You're building a business of creating relationships and creating manners, being an instrument that allows people to do what they haven't done. Allow them to really understand and see what's possible through you, right? And as you're doing that, all these things that we talked about over these 12 weeks are right here. So this chart, this right here, right in front of you, is everything that you require. And if you can put these as you're working with your team and keep these in mind and bring all of this energy, bring all of these things to really assist people in working from the inside out, that's when you get the change. So we spent 12 weeks together. You've heard it all. I got to tell you, from being in the fit, the market is flooded with packaged processes and solutions, promising methods, blah, blah, blah. So I got to ask you, can a cookie cutter approach to health, lifestyle, and wealth and happiness work? Hell to the no. If that was the case, we would all be we'd all be fit and rich, right? We'd all be fit and rich. Unfortunately, we already have a world that's filled with obesity and a variety of other things, obesity and poverty. But the bottom line, right, is that when you acknowledge people's uniqueness, when you acknowledge their greatness, when you can work with them and share with them different ways and methods that they can use so they can achieve extraordinary results. So it's not about being a cookie cutter. Yes, it's about having things that are available for everyone to use, but finding what works for their body, because your body will never, ever lie to you. So remember, consider this. Being in a fit is when you define your life from the inside out, right? That's really what it's all about, knowing that what we're here to do, how we can go about doing it, and being that positive, purposeful power of example. So I can't believe it. We've done our 12 weeks. We're going to do more. We're going to continue this process of checking in and doing things and really looking at a new you in 22. Because imagine, as you are really, really connecting with people, and if you bring these principles, this is an invitation to not only change your life, but to change the life of the people you really care about, right? Because all we are is instruments. So I'm going to open this up. Any questions, any thoughts, anything anybody wants to share, any aha moments, anything at all that you want to do? Tara, let's open it back up, and I'm going to get off of the sharing screen.
Randy, I'll just share a couple of comments while I will look for any hands to get raised.
Okay.
Yeah, so Neil is saying that you did an outstanding on the close of a life-changing 12 weeks. Thank you so much, with 6 exclamation points.
Oh, thank you.
And Marie Powell says, thank you so much, Randy, for taking your time out to do this amazing training. Join the journey, whoever that is saying, great stuff, my man. And now I'm going to go ahead and, Miss Swift Edition, I am going to unmute you so that you can go ahead and speak. Go ahead. You have to unmute there you are, go ahead.
Thank you, Tara, thank you so much. I want to first say thank you to you and Randy for this 12 weeks, absolutely phenomenal. And I know definitely life-changing for almost everybody on this, this Zoom. For me personally, doing the ACT process helped me so much, especially when it came to my, not just in business, but when it came to my actual job, being able to really stop and think about why I was reacting to certain things and really how it actually affected me, and being able to automatically become aware of it, really being able to know that, okay, the reason why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, really, if I sat back and thought about it for that quick moment, it was really irrelevant. And it caused the situation to go in a totally different direction than what it really should have. So being able to practice that, it helped me in being able to, you know, stop, take the moment, get kind of quiet and still in my mind to recognize everything that's going on around me and to take a different approach.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm so glad, because that's the amazing part of the process, is that when we take that moment and we really just look and say, wow, okay, what's really going on? Acknowledge, and then we challenge it, and we start looking for different alternatives and different solutions, then we can make that transformation. So we're not acting out of just pure emotion. So thank you for sharing that. So appreciate you and everything you do, and all the wonderful work you do for us on Thursdays with everything. So really appreciate you as well.
Thank you so much.
And Michelle, I just wanted to say that that was a beautiful example of personal mastery when you shared how you had your aha moment in that situation and you flipped the whole thing around inside. Beautiful example. Okay, so here's a question, Randy. As we bring new team members in, what is your advice on how best to share these learnings from the last 12 weeks? And then they went on to say, these are principles and behaviors that we should embrace for anything we do in life, business, personal, relationships, etc. But how do we best share these learnings from the last 12 weeks?
Well, I would say what's best is, as you're working with new people, new executives or customers or people that have access to this training, access to you, is to first see where they're at, right? See what it is that they are looking for. See if they're stuck in beliefs, if they're stuck in values, if they're stuck with where they're at. And we had 12 weeks of a whole lot of content. And I think the best way to introduce someone to it is to really introduce them to something where they may be struggling at right now. So like the circle of life that we did, looking at where you are in all the different key areas of your life. That may be an exercise that you can print off, that you can give to someone or share with them. If they are in your business, they will have access to that in the back office. So sharing, again, you may not share with them and say, hey, listen to the whole 12 weeks, because that may be too much for them too soon when they first come in. But you may say, hey, you know what, you might want to go to week 3, because in week 3, Randy talked about XYZ that may be beneficial to you and what you're going through right now. So take some time to listen to that. Now, if they listen to that, they may choose to want to listen to something else. But that's what I would do. I wouldn't try to get someone who's brand new to listen to all 12 weeks at one time, but I would definitely point them into where they would have the greatest connection and listening.
And just as an FYI, everyone, we're going to keep Randy's picture there with the personal mastery conversation. And below that image is a green button that will take you to the recording of all 12 trainings. They are not downloadable. However, you can log in, access them, have someone sit next to you. You could watch it together, listen to it together. And if they are an executive on your team, you can always direct them there and show them, like Randy suggested, as to which of the 12 you thought would make a good place for them to start. Well, Randy, there are no new hands. Last call, everybody, and no additional comments. Just a lot of gratitude.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all of you who have taken the time out each and every week to come back. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And we will definitely be making sure that all the things that we promised throughout this journey, and all of you that have, through your writings and different things, have certain gifts coming, that we will do all of those things as we come to the end of our program, and just really, really want to say how grateful that I am, and how grateful we are to be blessed with such awesome great people that we get to share our lives with, because I believe that together we're going to do something that has not been done before. We will shift the industry and shift so many things. So thank you, everyone. Have an awesome night, and we will talk soon. And remember, a new you in 22, and not just you, but those who you come in contact with and love. Good night.